Hello, my name is Andrew Helo, and I'll be reviewing the movie First Blood and how it relates to reality, an insight into the film's message about war, and also discussing a companion reading and why it is suitable to the movie. First Blood, also known as Rambo and Rambo First Blood, is a 1982 American action thriller film directed by Ted Kochev. It was co-written and stars Sylvester Stallone as John Rambo, a troubled and misunderstood Vietnam veteran who must rely on his combat and survival sense against the abusive law enforcement of a small town. It is based on David Morrell's 1972 novel Rambo. The Vietnam War was a conflict that occurred in Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia from the 1st of November 1955 to the fall of Saigon on the 30th of April 1975, with the US involvement ending in 1973. The Vietnam War was a protracted conflict that pitted the Communist government of North Vietnam and its allies in South Vietnam, known as the Viet Cong, against the government of South Vietnam and its principal ally, the United States. The movie Rambo is based on a former Vietnam soldier who was also a prisoner of war, or a POW. The movie is depicted as a soldier without a war. The film's relationship to reality is that men and women who served in Vietnam were rejected by their citizens upon returning home. Instead of a hero's welcome, many were protested against and looked at as murderers instead of heroes. The same people they fought to protect are the ones who turned their backs on them. A very emotional part of the movie is when Rambo was telling Colonel Troutman about what he was expecting when he returned versus what he actually encountered. Rambo is quoted as saying, "Then I come back to the world, and I see all those maggots at the airport, protesting me and spitting, calling me baby killer and all kinds of vile crap. Who are they to protest me, huh? Who are they? Unless they've been me and been there and know what the hell they're yelling about." The film's message about war is that the struggle was not over for the returning soldiers. Though the war had finished in Vietnam, the battle had only begun for returning soldiers trying to fit back into a civilization. The movie also reflects on how soldiers had to deal with the daily struggles of replaying horrible images seen during the war. Rambo, talking to Colonel Troutman, once again is quoted as saying, "Every day it hurts. Sometimes I wake up and don't know where I am. I don't talk to anyone, sometimes a day, sometimes a week. I can't put it out of my mind." Another message the movie portrays is how helpless the soldiers felt upon return. Many of them were in charge of operating multi-million-dollar equipment, yet upon return they struggled to maintain simple jobs. Psychological Observation of Repatriated Vietnam Prisoners of War is a companion reading that has been chosen for the review. It is based on returning POWs and the chronological description of how they came to be captured, who captured them, their transport to prison, interrogation, torture, imprisonment, and how they managed to stay sane during the ordeal. The duration of the stay that many POWs endure is one of three parts of the reflection of the movie. The period of confinement was considerably longer than that of the prisoners of World War II and the Korean War, with the typical Vietnam POW being in captivity about 6 or 7 years. It is quoted by Anderson in 1975. Secondly, the method of torture and how their strongest men were not able to endure. Anderson is quoted as saying, "The most typical torture method was the ropes. This procedure involved tightly wrapping wire or rope around both elbows and then pulling elbows together behind the man's back. Pain was caused by the torture effect on the forearms as well as tension on the shoulder girdles. Dislocated shoulders, fractured clavicles, peripheral nerve damage, and varying duration were not infrequent complications. The method was remarkably effective, and strong men were pleading for relief in a matter of minutes." Thirdly, how many POWs refused to think about their families in fears that they had moved on or had passed away. Anderson is once again quoted as saying, "They thought less of their families than at first might be expected," which I think served as a defense against the sense of helplessness that such thoughts would produce. To realize emotionally that year by one's children have been growing up without a father, that one's wife may have turned her affections elsewhere, and in some cases, that parents or loved ones may have died, might seriously miss adaptive capacities. Thank you for listening.